Guys, I want to show you a lymphatic drainage technique that is performed both in body lymphatic drainage, like actually on body, but it's also part of facial reflexology because it happens to be a body drainage area that's very close to where we're working. So everything that we do in facial reflexology has to do with the reflexes or some rejuvenating techniques and some anti-wrinkle wrinkle techniques if your client is requesting those as well. But this one particular technique is actually a lymphatic drainage technique that we're doing on body itself. So one of the ways that lymph drains from the head, face, and neck is down through a lot of lymphatic nodes on a lymphatic drainage chain that goes down the neck, the side of the neck, and it goes along a muscle called the SCM, or the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So it goes at an angle from the base of the octopus. The base of the occiput, and it goes at an angle towards the front of the body and attaches to the clavicle. So the first thing that we're going to do before we drain that chain is lymph drains from the lymphatic vessels and re-enters the bloodstream at an area just underneath the two clavicles or the collarbones right here. And that would, for us, would be called clearing terminus or lymphatic drainage points. So we're going to affect those directly by going to the skin above the clavicles. And with a flat hand, I'm just going to feel where the clavicles are. They're very close to the neck, so I know where they are. And now I put my tips of my fingers very lightly over top of the skin, just over the clavicles, and I very slightly, so little light pressure, press toward the center line. And that pulls on the skin, which opens the little valve to help drain lymph from the lymphatic vessels, and it can empty into a vein underneath the clavicle. That's where it rejoins the bloodstream and will become plasma, okay? That's clean lymph going in. So I'm opening the gate for lymph drainage to happen. Now that I've done that, now I want to bring more of the lymph down there so that it can drain. I'm gonna do one side at a time. I'll just show you a demo of what we would do for the technique. I'll turn my client's head to the side so that I can work on this exposed side, okay? So because lymph is draining down this way, I don't want to just push it all down. What I want to do is start at the bottom and with a very, very light pressure, very, very gently stretch the skin downward toward the clavicle. I'll move my whole hand up with no pressure at all, and I'll slightly stretch the skin down. So in order to demonstrate what I'm doing here, I'm going to exaggerate this. So this isn't real, what you'd see in a session, but it's an exaggeration so you can understand. My fingertips are just connected to the skin. I'm pressing down just to stretch the skin toward the lymph drainage point. And now with zero pressure at all, I move up, just a tiny, tiny bit, so incrementally moving up. And then I connect again, stretch the skin down. Incrementally move up, so there's no pressure when I'm moving up. And then just stretching the skin down. So what's happening is this: stretch down, stretch down, stretch down, stretch down, as my whole hand moves up every time. Okay, so that would look like this in real life. Stretching down, I'm holding to a count of about 5 would be ideal. It could be like 3 seconds to 7 seconds, but a count of 5 is ideal. Every time I slightly move my hand up, there's no pressure at all. I just get in position, and then it's the slightest pressure for a skin stretch down. And I move up following that sternocleidomastoid muscle, the one that's at an angle. So I'm going from where that clavicle was towards in behind the ear, where the muscle connects to the occiput. Octopus. Okay, so when I'm all the way up to the top, what I would do is repeat that times 3. If there's a lot of swelling, you could repeat it 5 times. And then when I'm done going through my process several times, my final swipe is going to be on this pad underneath my thumb, and I'm so gently going to connect that and just do a nice glide all the way down to the clavicle. And I'm just repeat that glide. Okay, so that's the drainage technique. It would be with much repetition, and it's slow with almost no pressure, really just about a skin stretch. I would do one side, and I would do the exact same amount of times on the other side. At the very end, I'm going to clear that lymph drainage point again, clearing terminus or opening lymph drainage. Just the gentlest little press toward the center line with my fingers just above the clavicles or the collarbones. So just easing and a little stretch toward the center. Both my hands are doing the same thing at the same time. Okay, so that was a little shortcut version, but it will at least show you the techniques that you can try.